Welcome to the Business Outlook Survey press conference call. My name is Doug Bennett, Media Relations Intern with the Federal Reserve Bank of Philadelphia, and with me today is Mike Trebing, Senior Economic Analyst, also with the bank. Today we will take questions from reporters about what our manufacturers had to say about business activity in July. First, Mike will give a brief summary on today's report. Mike?
Thank you. Our survey of regional manufacturers for July suggests that conditions are weaker again this month. The broadest indicator for general activity improved from its reading in June but remained negative for the third consecutive month. New orders and shipment indexes also remained negative, although they also rebounded from the previous month lows. Employment was also less favorable this month, with more firms reporting declines than increases, and average work hours for the panel were lower. Our price indexes suggest generally steady prices for inputs and manufactured goods, following moderating levels of the indexes in recent months. The future indicators reflecting the firm's outlook for the next 6 months diminished somewhat this month, but continued to suggest that most of the firms consider recent weakness to be temporary and the sector will bounce back over that time period.
Thanks, Mike. We will now take questions from reporters. Stephen Joyce from DNA, do you have any questions?
I do. Thank you for the call. Mike, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it looks pretty bad, frankly. And I was wondering, besides the prices you mentioned, the paid and received, below consensus was -9, came in at -12.9. I guess I'm asking, how bad do you really think this is?
Well, I think we look to the 6-month forecast numbers for some guidance on what firms are thinking about over the next 6 months again, and those numbers are holding up okay. Not quite as good as last month, but still, we've got 37% expecting activity growth the next 6 months, and just 18% expecting declines. The special questions that we asked this month shed some light on that too. We did ask them to characterize the state of demand for their manufactured products this month, and also about the factors that they considered most relevant for any slowdown. And we also asked for the third quarter estimates of production. With regard to the forecast for the next quarter, almost no growth on the average reading for what they were expecting third quarter compared to the second. So that's not real great news, but holding steady and no further declines. And we did have a larger share of firms that indicated that the demand had slowed or decreased actually over the last couple months than said that it had increased. And when we asked them about the reasons or the factors that were attributing to that slowdown, not too surprising, the increased uncertainty about the economy and uncertainty about future tax rates and government regulations were at the top of the list. Down the list somewhat was even the slowing export demand, with the firms that were experiencing slowing. About 20% of those firms indicated it was attributable to export demand. So all of the questions, I think, answer your question this month. Special questions as well as the 6-month indicators.
And again, I just asked a question, and I hate to sound negative, but I'm just looking at the data. Can you tell us a little bit about what the trajectory of the headline indicator? I mean, it was 16.6, now it's 12. I guess you're moving in the right direction, but do you still see it sort of negative in the next couple of months, or do you think you can move into positive territory relatively quickly?
Yeah, we saw, some improvements, if you want to call negative numbers, less negative numbers improvement. Across the board, the broad indicators were not as negative as last month, with the largest improvements or going back to zero on the orders front, which is a good sign. However, we did see weaker numbers for employment this month, where we had seen some improvement. Now we've got more firms indicating declines this month than increases. And of course, the summer months, it gets a little bit more difficult to read because of the traditional slowing and plant closings during the summer. But of course, these numbers are seasonally adjusted, so we try to account for that as well.
All right.
Thank
you.
Next question, Katie Etter from NJ Biz. Do you have any questions?
Yes, I do. Thank you. So I know that you pointed out the 6-month forecast number. I've looked and seen that that was the highest reading that you had, and now we're at the 6-month mark with July. How much do you rely on that reading going forward, and what do your indicators suggest against the manufacturers?
It's not as great as of a forecasting tool. However, we do look at the numbers to see if the optimism deteriorates dramatically, and with the change in growth between the first quarter and second quarter, we did see, as you mentioned, the forecasts deteriorating somewhat, but they're still holding up, and I think firms are not expecting, on balance, a deterioration over the next 6 months. And the special question suggested, at least in the third quarter, they're expecting about level production over the next 3 months at least.
What are some of the factors that are helping firms be more optimistic for the future?
Oh boy. I think we do ask for comments each month, and to be honest, most of the comments have been focused on the uncertainty related to the economy in general and the upcoming elections. However, at the same time, we've seen, on the price front at least, good news with regards to the cost of production. We've seen all of those price indexes moderate the last few months, and so at least from a cost standpoint, it's helping a little bit on the profit side, I guess. And typically the comments we receive are more on the negative side than on the positive side, even when growth is okay.
Thanks, Katie. Do we have anyone else on the call today?
Yes, Ellen Farley, Reuters.
Hi, Ellen.
Yeah, I do have a question. I guess the Labor Department is saying that the jobs claims data are a little bit off kilter because of plant closings for retooling that the schedules are a little bit different this year than prior years. I'm just wondering whether, since some of these firms in your survey are probably have some connection to the auto industry, whether that might be having any impact on the indexes.
Mm-hmm. With regard to the auto impacts, it's less of an impact here because we don't have the large auto plants, and as I've mentioned in other conferences, we do have firms that are sensitive to autos, but it's a small share of the industries or firms in that industry in this survey. We're aware of the July impact of these closings on the numbers, and the seasonals do anticipate this July-August slowdown. And as in previous years, we'll probably be asking next month about that question of plant closings, whether they're larger or normal relative to past years. So a teaser for next month's survey questions.
Okay, thank you.
Stephen Joyce, do you have any more questions?
No, thank you.
Katie?
No, okay, thank you.
Ellen?
No, I'm good, thank you.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
You've just been watching July's Business Outlook Survey press conference call and commentary with Mike Trebbing, a senior economic analyst here at the bank, and me, Doug Bennett, media relations intern, also with the Federal Reserve Bank of Philadelphia. Next month's Business Outlook survey will be posted on our website on Thursday, August 16th, 2012 at 10 a.m.